A few months ago, I was speaking with a business owner who was frustrated. She had just come out of a growth sprint with her team. Her words, not mine. They had increased ad spend, launched a new lead magnet, and doubled traffic to her landing page. On paper, everything looked like it was working, but her sales hadn't moved. So, she did what most business owners do in that moment. She assumed the problem was top of funnel. For those who are not familiar with the term, top of funnel means ads or whatever's driving traffic at the top. And at the top is your form, right? So that's where the conversion happens on your landing page on your form. So whatever's driving traffic through it is top of funnel. She assumed the problem was top of funnel. So she says, we just need more leads. So they poured more fuel on the fire. More ads, more content, more outreach. The works. But a week later, the pipeline still felt strangely empty. That is when we did something simple. We followed one lead. From the moment it entered the system to the moment it was supposed to become a customer. And what we found was not a traffic problem. It was a leakage problem. The lead was entering the system just fine, but somewhere between the form, the CRM, the follow-up, the booking page, it was quietly disappearing. Not in one dramatic failure, but in small invisible gaps between tools. And that's the part most businesses miss. Because when the pipeline feels dry, the instinct is almost always the same. Add more fuel, more traffic, more leads, more campaigns. When the real issue is often that the system is already leaking. So, before you scale anything, you have to ask a more uncomfortable question here. Are we actually losing the leads we already have? And why are leads slipping through the cracks? So, the short answer is, you may not need more leads. You may just need to stop losing the ones you already have. Your landing page can work, your CRM can work, your emails can send, your calendar can accept bookings. Every tool appears to be doing its job while the full customer journey is quietly falling apart behind the scenes. Because the problem is not always inside the tools. It's often the spaces in between. A lead fills out your form and then enters one system, gets passed on to another, and somewhere along the way, the lead has left the building. The tools can work, but the journey can still break. Most leads disappear during the handoff. Most leads disappear during the handoffs. And these are the handoffs from the form to the CRM, and then from the CRM to the first follow-up, from the follow-up to the booking page, from the booking to the sales conversation, and from the sales conversation to the final decision. That's 5 handoffs. 5 opportunities to drop the ball here. Marketing assumes sales is following up. Sales assumes the CRM is handling it. The team assumes the automation is working. And the automation is just doing automation things, doing exactly what it was told or what it was set to do, whether that makes sense or not. When everyone owns the lead, no one really owns the lead. Each tool might pass its individual test, But unless someone has tested the entire journey from beginning to end, you do not actually know if the system works. What you 100% know and know to be a fact is that the pieces work. And a pile of working pieces is not the same as a working system. So, how do you find out where leads are getting lost? It's time to put on your detective hat and become a mystery shopper in your own business. Use a new email address and submit your form. Check whether the lead appears correctly in your CRM. Review every email, every notification, and every task that should be triggered. Book a test appointment and then cancel it. Yeah, cancel it, miss your own call on purpose, and at every stage, make sure to ask these 3 questions. First, who owns this lead? Has there been an owner that's taking care of this stage? Second, what should happen next? Should the lead be contacted? Should they receive an email? What's supposed to happen? What is the lead expecting would happen? Or what does your process intend to happen to the lead? And lastly, how will we know if it doesn't happen? Then, fix the journey in the right order. Define, assign, connect, automate, and then monitor. You see, I put automate as the 4th step and not the first, right? And I'll explain that in a bit. But most people jump to that step, which is where they get it wrong. First, define what should happen, and then assign clear ownership. Connect the tools, and then you automate the process. Only then. And lastly, monitor whether it continues to work. This is a step that's almost always missed. When someone automates something, they just completely forget to check whether it's working or not. Now, why did I put automate as the 4th step and not the first? The simple reason is because automation, in all its magic, cannot fix a bad process. And sending more traffic into a broken system usually creates more waste, not more growth. So, here is the quick recap. Inspect the entire journey, not just the individual tools. Look closely at every handoff. Give each stage a clear owner. Decide what should happen next and how you will know when it doesn't. Then, test the full journey. And when I say full, from beginning to end, before sending more people through it. I mentioned at the beginning of the video that you may not need more leads. And that's true, because you may simply just need a better path for the ones you already have, the ones you already earned, and the ones you already paid for. Fix the journey first, and then scale it. Systems before scale. I'll see you in the next one.